Welcome back to Coral Jacks, and here we have a crisp, chilly morning on the Teifi, and we are down in St Dogmaels, Llandudoch, having a quick look at the Blessing Stone. And the Blessing Stone is thought to have been a dolmen, and all that remains is the large capstone on the floor in this little, it's quite slippy ground, in this little sort of cubby.
And that's the Blessing Stone, or the Answering Stone. A more modern name for it was the Answering Stone, because if you'd stand there and shout, the echo back. But when we were here last time, I found a stone and started hitting it.
That's weird. Huh.
I'm thinking, is that more to do with an echo from the stone?
It is very loud. Yeah.
Very loud. I've never. It's really weird. We hit a lot of stones when we're out and about, but this one is crazy. Can that pick up, do you think? Whoa.
Yeah, it's a very hollow sounding centre, isn't it?
Also, the older name was the Blessing Stone because the Abbey monks would stand here and bless the fishing ships, boats as they went out for the season.
Gotta bless those fishermen, get the good fish.
May you be blessed for the season ahead.
Now, if you haven't been to the Blessing Stone, then I'll lead you to where you might recognise if you've been to St Dogmaels. So this is now called the Teifi Villa, and it used to be a pub, which was great, lovely little pub by the river. But now, like so many other places, it has turned into a very large holiday let. Now, St Dogmaels, or Llandudoch, is a pretty small village, so you can park up wherever you like, and there's actually a pathway that goes all the way along the river, and so you can follow that pathway and it will lead you to here. But if you're looking for a shorter walk, there is a car park, and if you're looking for it, it's near the St Dogmaels Primary School. If you find this parking, you'll be greeted with this sign, and on this sign we have an image of what the Blessing Stone looks like today. We have an image of the River Blessing, like Coral was just mentioning before, and they have down here an artist's representation of what the Blessing Stone may have looked like when it was still a dolmen. So obviously they're not going as far as suggesting that it was a covered, a chambered mound or anything like that, that it was a covered dolmen. They're just representing it as a dolmen like many of the other sort of famous dolmens in the area look. We've got, obviously Pembrokeshire, Ceredigion, Carrig Coitin Arthur, and we've got some Ceredigion on solar alignments. It's quite a nice sign, to be honest. It's compared to some of the ones around, it's quite informative and covers some of our top local dolmens and ancient sites.
So we were just looking around because people said they think they've seen stones that could have been part of the Cromlech. Could they be talking about these? These are the only stones I've seen around here.
Could be just about big enough for
Could be.
3 small uprights. But in that case, are they suggesting that they levered it off down the hill?
They said it was just
landed?
rediscovered on the banks of the Teifi in the 60s.
How you doing, baby?
Reading sign.
Reading sign? What does the sign say?
Something about fishing.
Oh!
So apparently the Blessing Stone was recently revived by a vicar.
All right.
So they still shout blessings at the boats.
Shout blessings at the
I know, I
boats.
want to know what the blessing is.
Going to force this blessing
Thou
upon
shalt
you.
be blessed.
Take my blessing!
Thou be blessed!
Brian Blessed. Oh, hello. Holding some big old fish in their hands there.
Oh.
The blessing stone, which you can see near this panel, is traditionally where the fishing fleet was blessed by the abbot. This ceremony has been recently revived by the vicar of the parish. It is also called the answering stone. Stand by it, make a noise to hear what happens.
I didn't hear much when I made a noise.
Well, a lot of the echoes are going to be blocked by
Trees.
the quite serious tree growth, which may well not have been there decades ago from the images of the site.
What a beautiful day.
The unusual method of catching salmon here in the River Teifi is believed to have been introduced by the French monks of St Dogmaels Abbey. Seine fishing using a 200-metre net set in an arc between two boats, or between a boat and the bank.
Why was it unusual?
I guess rather than just...
Using a big net.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, you can park outside the pub here, which is now a holiday let, and you can walk up into town and go around that way. Or you can go round a rather nice little river walk. It's just a narrow path following the edge of the river, and there's plenty of little cut-offs through the village where you can get out wherever you want to. So we're going to walk down the river walk and go along to the Abbey and have a quick look at the Abbey and some of the old stones there. And then, yeah, as you come out of the trees, you'll have a view up the river all the way to Cardigan. And we're actually going to head over there to near that marquee, and we'll be right at the bottom half of St Dogmaels then.
I've never been down here.
Never been down it?
No.
Well, you definitely have.
Oh.
Maybe not for a few years, but you've
Yeah.
definitely walked along here.
Been a long time.
But then, yeah, we'll be at the Cardigan side of St Dogmaels, and we'll be able to cut up to the through the duck pond, which is a mill pond, and I believe the mill is still working and you can buy flour.
Oh, really?
You don't know any of this?
That didn't show me around enough, even though we've lived here 15 years.
Yeah, I think I showed Coral all the sites about 10 to
15
50
years
years ago. She's forgotten them all. But yeah, next to the mill pond is the Abbey. So just throw in a couple of clips of that walk as we go. So as you come into St Dogmaels from the river, you are greeted with BV Reese car sales, and you briefly look like you're in some sort of commercial area and not in some rural village. But just over the top of the houses there, you can see a bit of the Abbey, and that's what we're heading for. So as you get up onto the road, to your left is the road to Cardigan, and to your right is the road into St Dogs, which follows through to Poppet, the largest local beach. And we're going to be following those brown signs to the Abbey.
Mill. Ah, there. Where's all the ducks gone, Zeb?
They've got little houses over there where they can go in.
coffee and grift shop. Oh, is that Llandudoch? Statue of St Dogmaels commissioned by Ian Gollop. So this is the ruins of an abbey that was founded in the 12th century. That church was built in around 1850 using old stones from the ruins of the abbey, and there's some pretty interesting old stones in there we'll have to go check out. Last time I was here, unfortunately, I got in a bit of a row with a guy because he was playing football in this square here, like full on kicking the ball as hard as he could against all the walls. And I was just like, mate, what are you doing? There's a football pitch over there. And he got really arsed. He said, I've been playing football in here since I was a kid. I said, well, that's wrong, you're stupid. Look, just kicking the football around here with this kid. I had a bit of a go at him. He wandered off, stormed off actually. And then half hour later we saw him playing football in the football pitch. What do you know? I was horrified though. Look, it's so beautiful. Playing football in here your whole life.
One of the wonderful, interesting things about a lot of churches around here is that they house a selection of inscribed stones. And between the inscribed stones that bore Ogham and Latin inscriptions, it's allowed people to work out, to decipher what the Ogham actually means. So even though these stones were only preserved by the church, they've done a good work in preserving them because it's broadened our knowledge of what they actually mean. Next to the Abbey and the mill pond, there is a relatively modern cafe, built about 10-15 years ago. We've only stopped in the cafe once, and a friend treated us to lunch. It was a very expensive sandwich that came completely deconstructed, so a couple of slices of bread, the cheese on the side, a couple of little condiments and things that you had to put together yourself. Yeah, very, very expensive deconstructed sandwich.
Okay, we were just going to nip inside this church because our phone batteries are dying and see the interesting stones, which we will insert voiceover of. Am I allowed in?
we've just taken a 15-20 minute detour to Nevern. And if you haven't been to Nevern and you're in the vicinity of Cardigan or Newport, we've got to highly recommend that you come here. Okay, Sebby, you wait for us. Let me just untangle myself. But Nevern is home to Nevern Church, which has in its churchyard